I would take you on a little tour today to see what we've been up to over the last few months. I haven't really done a video in a long time, so we've been busy and we've made a lot of changes. And one of these is the gate back here. And I've got Nathan carved the fleur-de-lis for me, which I love. And above we're going to eventually have the pergola that we'll build. That when you walk through the gates, you'll have the pergola above. And I've got some Vanessa grapes that will be growing up. And this is one of them. Now these ones grow really well out here. We're in zone 8A, and they're supposed to be very sweet and seedless. So I'm excited about those. I've got 4 of them on each side that will grow up and eventually be growing on the pergola, which will be really pretty. And this is my Apache thornless blackberry. I've got some mammoth sunflowers growing up here, and I hope that they're not going to block the sun from my blackberries. I didn't think about that when I first planted them, so hopefully it goes all right. So we have gotten, that's my rooster. He doesn't sound quite right, does he? We actually have too many roosters right now, so we'll probably be eating some. So I've got our cattle panels up that the tomatoes will grow on. I'm so excited. I've got an arch here. And I've got another one back here that is a bit crooked, but we'll be fixing that. On this arch in the front, I've got sun sugars that will grow up on it. Now, if y'all have never had a sun sugar, you need to try them. They're a little cherry tomato. I actually grew some by seed, but with the cold this year, I don't know if y'all can see very well. I had a hard time finding this sun sugar. I looked all over and I finally found it at a local little grocery store right here in town. So I was so excited about that because my seeds did not do well. In fact, where did I put those? Oh, there they are. As you see, they're really small. So eventually maybe I'll be able to put them in the ground. We'll see how that goes. So I've got 2 rows of peppers here, different kinds. I had to buy quite a few of them. This one's a Cajun bell pepper. It's a Cajun bell that I got and wanted to try out. Most of these are bell peppers. I've got some dill growing right here, and my darn cilantro and parsley, it's just bolting it. I don't know. I haven't had success with cilantro yet. I've had many parsley plants, but I've never had them bolt like that before, so I don't know what's going on with that. And I've got 3 rows of tomatoes. I think I have over 60 tomatoes. Different kinds. I planted, on this row I have, I'll show you. These are all of my early girls and big boys. And they've been having some problems. I've been spraying them quite a bit with neem oil to keep the pests off of them. But let me see if I can find, let's see, this one here. You can see this on a lot of the leaves, the lower leaves, they're actually getting a lot better. So what happened, I was researching and trying to figure out what is going on here. And it's actually a magnesium deficiency in the soil. So luckily it's an easy fix. You just put a teaspoon of Epsom salt at the base and they're already doing much better. Thank goodness. I was really worried at first that it was like some sort of fungus because last year we had blight really bad on all of our tomato plants, completely wiping them out eventually. It was so sad. We lost so many tomatoes. And so this year, this is one of the reasons we're doing the cattle panels, is so that I have better airflow. I also spaced the tomatoes out further. They're about 2 feet apart. This row are This is my beefsteak varieties, all different kinds. I planted most of them all from seed, except every time I go into town, I go to Lowe's, I just see tomatoes that look good, and I'm like, oh, I want to try this one. So I end up buying quite a few. I got a German Johnson, a German Queen, and then a Mr. Stripey. Where's that one? That's my German Johnson, and the Mr. Stripey is here. I'm going to start pruning them more. I'm going to prune them so that their stalks are completely bare up to about here, so that I've got lots of airflow. I'm not having that blight problem this year. Anyway, I hope not. I've got this one over here. Where is it? I think I've got a couple of these. This Cherokee Purple. And these are supposed to be really popular, and they're supposed to be super good. I've heard a lot of good things about these ones. They started out, came from Tennessee originally. The people that got the seeds said that they got them from the Cherokee Indians. So now it hasn't really been proven, but that's the story, and that's why they have their name of Cherokee Purple. So anyway, they're all doing pretty darn good right now. I haven't seen any issues. I've had some pests, but not many. I've been spraying them frequently with neem. I am not going to get wiped out this year. Well, I'm trying not to. These are my corn and my squash and the beans. Now these beans will eventually climb up. Oh, you see this one's already doing it. This little way of growing is called the Three Sisters. You have a mound, you can do different shapes, and you've got your corn in the middle. I went ahead and did a sunflower in the middle here, but it's kind of growing out. I think it's trying to get some sun. So at the base you have your squash, and then the beans use the corn as support. So I'm excited about this. I now have another friend that's doing this year as well, this year. So, this corn variety is called Peaches and Cream. And it's doing pretty good. Our corn last year did not do well at all. And over here, we've got our melons, watermelons up front, and the very, very end, cantaloupe. In this row, got my eggplants, and look at it. See all those holes? That is a flea beetle. That is damage from flea beetles. And I'll see if I can find one for you. They call them flea beetles because they hop like fleas and they eat the crap out of your leaves. Look at that. So I actually sprayed them heavily last night with some neem. Neem oil does kill flea beetles. Looks like Lily woke up. Hi, Lily. She's been staying up really late, really getting into reading. So they've been sleeping in quite a bit. So this row is tobacco. This variety is called Dixie Shade. And I've got some pests starting to eat at these front ones, I've noticed. So I'm going to come out here and spray them as well. So they're cute. Cute and small right now. We've never grown tobacco before, so this will be fun. The tobacco stores, all the tobacco stores here out in Georgia have shut down. They just didn't make it during COVID. So Nathan was like, let's just grow our own tobacco, because Nathan enjoys his pipe, and on occasion I like to have a cigar, so we'll see how that goes. And over here, I've got my Christmas lima beans. They're getting attacked as well a little bit here. I sprayed them last night. Now the Christmas lima beans, they climb on my little teepee here eventually. That's the goal. We'll see how this works. They're called Christmas lima beans because they are white with little red spots. So I'm pretty excited about that. And back here, got my greenhouse. Yes. sun. So yeah, Nathan, roosters are loud this morning. Nathan built this for me, and I love it. It's so pretty. It looks like a carousel, doesn't it? And eventually we'll have a really cute little door on it. I put a bunch of mulch up around the base and planted some daisies that I planted from seed, because I can't really get the weed whacker around with the plastic, so I went ahead and put heavy mulch so I'm not having grass growing up. I think Lily went out to her little tree. I'm gonna show y'all this tree. It's pretty neat. What are you doing back here? Oh, you're trying to find a place to read. I thought that you were gonna go up in the tree. And Nathan put this ladder over here so the girls could go up the tree, and they've gone up to the top, but they're not able to climb. They're afraid, which I would be too. I'm scared. I wouldn't want to do it. All right, well, you enjoying your new book? It's good? All right, I'm gonna head back. It's what? It's all the dew from the morning. Over here I've got a row of bush beans. I got different colors this year. Got some purples. In fact, there's some growing. But if you see, some of these leaves are getting all curled up. That's usually a sign of that the plant is in distress for some reason. In this case, I think some pests are getting after them, but honestly not many. I think I watered them too much. They got a little bit too much water. So I'm just going to let them dry out. And here, see, I've got some of the purple ones growing here. You see that? So I've got the purple ones, I've got some yellow ones, and then the green ones they're growing up on the corn. So I'm hopefully going to make one of those three bean salads. I think that would be delicious. I've got a bunch of sunflowers, all different kinds. These ones in the front here are dwarf variety. I did a lot of sunflowers this year. Uh-oh, I accidentally let Sophie out in the garden. She knocks my sunflowers down. So here are my potatoes. And I think they're doing pretty good. I've got some pests eating them. I noticed there were some slugs, so Nate's going to pick me up some diatomaceous earth on the way home today. And I'm going to be throwing that everywhere at the base of these plants. The front area section here is the Yukon Gold, and then I've got some purple, a purple variety back here. Kind of almost has a purpley hue to the stalk, doesn't it? And then I've got some volunteer wheat right here. In fact, I probably need to check on their food and fill it up today. So these I have back here is another arch. It's a bit crooked, but I think I already said that, but we will be fixing it. At the base of this arch, I have pickling cucumbers. I've never actually grown pickling cucumbers before, so I'm excited to try that out. I showed you the dill earlier, I think, so I'll be using that to make some pickles. So I think that will be fun. And you know what? Nathan installed water for me out here in my garden, so now I actually have a faucet. I can just go over here and turn on the water. We've got a sprinkler that's up here in the middle, and then I can also fill up my watering cans and stuff, instead of having to go all the way up to the house or having this huge, really long hose. It's just a pain. It was a pain in the butt. So I'm really thankful that Nathan did that for me, because it's amazing to actually have water. I know next year we're going to be doing raised beds, and we'll have drip irrigation, which is the best way to water, especially tomatoes. This year we're going to have to just make do with the sprinkler, and I'll just make sure to keep them elevated and pruned well, and lots of airflow. That's the goal this year with these tomatoes. So I've got my little faucet over here. Eventually we'll have light out here as well. I don't know if you'll notice the wire. That is what that is for. And this is another one of my Vanessa grapes. I totally wiped it out with the weed whacker. I don't know how. It got somehow wrapped around it and it took it out. So I will take you guys up here. We've got one fig tree we planted. Gosh, I think we planted this thing when we moved here, so like 3 years ago. Only got one fig growing. You see it? Hopefully by next year we'll get more figs. I got my butterfly bush. Remember I showed you all that last year. They've gotten huge. I'm excited about those pink blossoms this year. Hopefully they'll be covered with bees. I've got several little teeny tiny hydrangeas here. I bought quite a few of them this year, so I'll take you up here where I've got more of them. And also some blueberry bushes. We've got 6 of them. Eventually I'd like to get 6 more, and we'll have another row right next to them, kind of staggered. So here are the blueberries. This is my biggest bush. The other ones are a little bit smaller. I've got some camellia bushes here too. I've got 3 of them. Eventually I want to fill out this section and just have a nice thick row of camellias that are blooming in the winter time. Over here I expanded this garden and I love it. So let me get down here. I've got my other butterfly bush, and I've got 2 azaleas and 3 hydrangeas. And this whole area will fill in eventually. Right now I've got these pretty little petunias. I love this color. And they're filling it out. Isn't that pretty? And then I've got this volunteer pumpkin. I don't know, I'm gonna have to take him out. And I have a little rose bush area. This is just the beginning. I want to expand it, eventually have more roses. I'm learning a lot about roses. I want to get better at it, better at pruning them and all that. And so right now I just have 3 roses. And this one is the iceberg rose. This is the bush variety. And they all are very fragrant, especially this one, which I don't remember the name of it. I feel like the word perfume was in the name, but I was with Lily that day and she really wanted this one. And I'm so glad because this one is so fragrant. I wish y'all were here to smell it. And this is my Double Delight. My mom has a Double Delight, and so does my aunt. And they're very, very pretty and fragrant. And I have more of my hydrangeas here. This one's doing really good. So I got 1 hydrangea here and then a few Japanese snowball bushes. And this is my creeping phlox that I took a clipping of off the side of the road. And it has a pretty bright pink flower. And over here, these are just some rosemary that I grew from seed. They're supposed to flower. I don't think that I have them in the sun enough, to be honest. This is my Japanese snowball bush I got 2 years back. I've got some more creeping phlox down here that I got. And see how it's growing quite tall in the middle? So I think this winter I'll cut it back and kind of try to shape it a little bit. I feel like it gets enough sun here, but maybe it's trying to reach up for that sun. Got building supplies here. Gotta finish that pergola. So over here I've got my crepe myrtles that I got from the Harbor Day Foundation. They were just tiny little sticks when I first got them. I need to learn about trimming them down a little bit, pruning them. Hopefully we don't get those darn Japanese beetles this year. They really knocked out some of my roses. And I've got my knockout roses over here. This one's a sunny knockout rose. And it actually has fragrance to it. And these ones, yeah. You see the pests. that darn rose slug. And in this empty pot here, I'm growing some turmeric. It's just, I don't know very much about turmeric, but I'm learning. I think it's not supposed to come up till summertime. So, we'll see. Hopefully it works. I checked on the roots, actually, because I was worried they might be rotting or something. But they're still doing okay, and they look like they're starting to send out little sprouts. And in this area, this is our strawberry patch. This variety is called Sweet Charlie, and we did a nice little sun wheel. I don't know if y'all can see. We've got the little paths in the middle so the kids can walk between each little section. And I've been having the girls just pluck off all the flowers this year so they can just put all their energy into sending out more shoots. And next year, hopefully we'll get a lot of strawberries. I've got 6 dwarf trees that I planted over in the front. I don't know if y'all can see that little stick right there. That's a pear tree. And then I've got 2 plums, one here. And I've got a Romeo cherry tree. I'm very excited about that. I love cherries. And this is my Romeo cherry. And looks like Lily decided to come out here and read. And this is the Honeycrisp apple. And then I've got a pink lady over there. Got a jump rope there. And as you see, there's something eating them. And this is actually a rose slug. They are actually not a slug, but they're called that. They are the larva of a sawfly. And they are just taking out my roses. And you see here, those cute little frog. Oh my goodness, I love these little guys. There are actually quite a few of them on my roses out here. So, I'm going to be spraying. Oh my goodness. I can hear a little frog. I don't see it though. So, anyway, for my roses, I got some Fells Naphtha soap. Now this is the original pesticide, insecticide for the gardener back in the day. This stuff was around since what, 1894 it says? So back in the 40s, they came out with synthetic pesticides, insecticides, and the gardeners ended up switching over to I think it's called DDT. But back in the day, they used Fells Naphtha. And what you do, and I've honestly never tried it, you take about an inch of this soap and cut it off, grate it up into little shavings, put it in a pot with a quart of water, boil it down until it gets nice and melted, and then that is your concentrated solution. And you take that, get another quart of water, and just take a teaspoon of your concentrated and put it in the quart of water. And then you can spray it, shake it up, and spray it on all your pest problems, and it does work. That's what I've heard. Now, it doesn't work for like beetles and stuff, such like that, so probably do the diatomaceous earth, or I know the neem oil does work for the flea beetles, so. Anyway, so I'm excited to try that. I'm going to do that today and spray them all over because they've got quite a few. They've getting eaten up. So, look at this cute little anole. You're quite skinny. I think it's time for you to have a meal. Alright, I wanted to show you this rose over here. I've got 2 of them. This is the Stricum Rich Rose. Nathan got these for me like 2 years ago, and they're growing really tall, so I'm not sure if they're just not getting enough sun, if this little porch area is blocking it. I feel like they get enough sun. They seem to, but I don't know. They're growing really tall. Maybe I need to cut them back more. It actually has a problem. It's called mosaic rose virus, if you see what's going on here with the leaves. Now, when I first looked this up, I had some people saying that you need to rip the rose bush out and burn it. So I was like, oh gosh, I've got the 2 Stricum Rich roses, and then my double delight up front is having the same issue. So But then I was reading that it's actually okay. You can leave them there as long as they're, you're happy with them, they're doing okay. What the mosaic rose virus does, it does stunt them. Although this one is growing really tall, I don't know. And they supposedly can bloom less. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. I'd like to keep them here. And though double the light out front is not blooming at all. So I think that's probably why, is that it's got that virus going on. These ones actually bloomed quite a bit. So I'm just going to leave them and we'll see how it goes. Oh. Little areas, our little outdoor pavilion Nathan built all by himself. I love it. It's so pretty. We hang out here quite a bit in spring, throughout the whole summer. He built the smoker and then the fireplace, and the smoker works really well. We've been enjoying that. We cooked up some really good ribs a few weeks back. And I got my violas hanging up there in the little pots, but you know what? They're looking kind of sad. It's about time to take them out. It's starting to get heat up, I think, a little bit for them. And I've got my azaleas, which were blooming really beautiful. Made some really delicious ribs a few weeks ago in that smoker. I'm telling you, it was so amazing. These are my little teeny tiny impatiens that I grew from seed. So this is a weed. I need to pull that up. I'm excited. I don't know, have no idea what color they're going to be. Hi, Moonlight. This is Mellie's cat, Moonlight. What you doing, you pretty boy? I love how the animals just follow me around. We used to have some ducks. I had 6 of them. They were the cutest things. They would just follow me around the garden, eating the grass. They wouldn't touch my plants. They're just a perfect little companion, but we really needed to have a place for them to stay at night. They would just sleep over in the hydrangeas, and I thought they would be safe there because it's right next to the house. Well, one night, we have a fox problem. There's one fox that comes around here harassing the cats, and he ended up eating all of my ducks. So sad because they were so cute. So next year we're going to try again, but we're going to have a safe place for them to be. Over here on the side of the house, I've got wild ferns growing. They just grow up every year naturally. I just let them do their thing because I think they're pretty. And this is my rhododendron. This one is, I always forget the name of this one, Southgate Grace rhododendron. When it first blooms, it's a really pretty pink and then it goes to a white. But here's a clipping that I got from my Aunt Linda. It's like I got a tree growing up here. I think this is some sort of bungleweed. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask her again what that was. It grows a pretty little pink flower. And originally the first clipping here came from my Mimi, who had a beautiful garden in Chalmette, Louisiana. And she had quite the green thumb. But when Hurricane Katrina hit, she ended up having her house be underwater for about 2 weeks, about 15 feet of water. And of course her garden didn't survive, which is a tragedy. So anyway, so it's nice to have a little clipping from her garden. I wish I had more. I want to show y'all, these are my other rhododendrons. So they have not bloomed. They're 2 years old. And I read that when you first transplant these darn things, they will take 3 years to really get established and start blooming again. So I'm hoping this next year I'll see those beautiful blooms again because I miss them. They were really pretty. I love the rhododendron blooms. They're so beautiful. So. Oh, we got another little cat. No, this cat, her name's Starlight. She's very sweet. The girls actually found her in a tree right over by their creek. She was crying and all that, and the girls went and rescued her. And ever since then, she just decided this is her home. She's just hanging out, and she's really sweet. Surprisingly, she gets along with all of the cats, even our one female. So we went ahead and got her fixed a few weeks back, and she's just part of the family now. So I think that is all for today, y'all. So until next time, y'all take care.